Okay. Anything else on physicality?
I don't think so. I think we got all of our most passionate speech out at the end of our last episode anyway, so we can keep firing away here.
Okay. Well, let's move on to part 2 of our episode today. Brandon Miller. And you can see in the title there. Why is nobody talking about Brandon Miller? He's been pretty exceptional as a rookie, coming off in and out of ankle sprains, starting, not starting. Like it's not exactly been a consistent role for him. He's clearly playing a little bit hurt. He's clearly playing with a revolving cast around him. All while he's been remarkably consistent for a rookie. Like, it's one thing you probably can't say about many rookies, but I went through and I looked through some NBA rookie rankings for this. NBA.com has him 5th, CBS 3rd, Sports Illustrated has him 4th, The Athletic has him 4th, The Ringer has him 6th. He's pretty clearly been there, I think, like consensus, a top 3 to 4 rookie in the class. And let's just put it this way. This is a class that also includes Chet Holmgren. So you can say that he's the number 2 overall pick. He's been a disappointment. But really, Chet has had another year. And so really, like, from those purposes, he's the 3rd overall pick in some respects. So he's right where he should be. We talked about Brandon Miller after a couple of weeks. We talked about how it's going to change. Defense is going to start taking stuff away from him. And there's going to be a growth and a learning period. I have to say, I haven't really noticed too much of that yet. He has adapted pretty damn well on the fly.
Yeah, he really has. And the one thing that stood out to me over the last week or so, especially when he's been starting at the 2, nonetheless, with LaMelo injured, where he's looked very good, I think, on both ends of the court. He's developed a ton as a passer or just pick and roll ball handler, playmaker. That seems like when he was, early on in the year, just getting his feet wet in the NBA, was kind of just trying to get himself settled by just putting the ball in the hoop, doing what he knows how to do best, starting to iron out his shot a little bit. I think he was at 7% or something crazy like that through the first week of the season. He's now up to 38%. So he has been on fire in the last the last month plus almost. It's just a long range shooter, great ball handler and playmaker for his position. His assists have gone up over the last 10 games or so, with his turnover numbers and usage rate, or turnover numbers staying the same and the usage rate also going up. So with more opportunity, with more reps, he's just doing more. He's not getting any less efficient. He's just scaling up slowly and steadily, but he's doing it very well and very efficiently so far. So, I mean, the NBA Kia rookie ladder, I believe, has him as the 5th best rookie in the class right now. To me, that doesn't. You're right that it does bump it down a little bit with Chet, but it's just not going to do it justice because he's been so good and this is such a good class that for the Hornets, I really don't know if they could have asked for a much better start unless he was going to come in and just be like Luka Doncic, which would be a tall ask. So very impressive last couple of weeks from Brandon Miller.
I mean, I would say outside of LaMelo Ball, he's had the most impressive rookie season I've seen from a Charlotte Hornet rookie.
Absolutely. I agree.
He has been absolutely exceptional. Just look, the defense, he has been over aggressive on defense. He's picked up quite a lot of fouls, reaching in, some poor closeouts. There's absolutely some stuff he needs to clean up in that end, but you can still see the IQ and the high effort. It all comes from a good place rather than from a lazy place. It's not that he's out of position. It's that he's just trying to make a big play. So the defense, I feel like he has got exposed a little bit more than maybe in the first week or 2 in the season. And I think that's partially matchup wise. He's had some tougher matchups so far, and they keep putting him on all these primary scoring options. But like you said, his usage is up to, I think, 18.5% from 17% it was for the first half of the season. And just the shooting splits just project to be really damn good as a rookie. I mean, this is NBA starters this season who have the same shooting stats as Brandon Miller in terms of from the mid-range from 3. And these are all above his thresholds, basically. These are the players who currently match his shooting splits who start in the NBA. Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Duncan Robinson, Michael Beasley, Jalen Johnson for the Hawks, by the way, and D'Angelo Russell. That is good company. And all those guys, apart from Jalen Johnson, who's almost kind of a similar rookie in some ways, are all multi-year, some of those are the best shooters and players in the NBA. And Brandon Miller's shooting splits are right up there on a team that has struggled to generate good looks in the first 2 weeks of the season, playing in the NBA for the first time. I mean, my excitement for this kid is just absolutely off the roof. I think he is going to be. People talk about Chris Middleton being his peak. I think it's like his floor. I think he is going to be multi-time All-Star. If he is just this good this early with this IQ, that size, when he gets stronger, it's going to be a real problem. He's already learning how to pick up fouls. I posted a little video the other day where he's learning how to get those NBA foul calls already. I just can't hold back how positively I feel about Brandon Miller. And I think he is going to be probably like the number 2 option on this team by next season. I think it's going to happen that quick. It's going to be exciting to watch. And I'm just confused how nobody is talking about it in the NBA media's face. Like, everyone loves good rookies, right? This always happens. If Scoot Henderson was this good, we'd be getting podcasts, articles about it every week. And I think I saw Chris Vernon. I posted it on my Twitter the other day. Chris Vernon from The Ringer said that the Charlotte Hornets, they also listed Detroit and Toronto, just like aren't interesting. They don't even have any good rookies or anything interesting. I mean, how good do you need a rookie to be, man? There are not many good rookies who have been this good this early while playing injured in a rotating cast in a role that is changing.
I mean, right now, he's averaging 14 points per game. He's shooting 60% at the rim, shooting 50% from 10 to 14 feet, and from 25 feet and beyond, he is shooting 42%. Like, you literally cannot ask for better efficiency from a player that's still adjusting to the pace and the physicality of the NBA to be better than that on offense. Like, it's just, he is the perfect like release valve and like secondary scorer, playmaker, shooter for LaMelo. Like, that is the exact type of shooting, scoring wing that you want to pair with a player that has the type of creative playmaking and flair and just overall talent that LaMelo has. So it is about as good as we can ask. I think the reason that he's not being talked about is just because the Hornets have not been good, which is unfortunate. But then again, how often are teams with good rookies actually like good on a league-wide scale? So I don't know what the issue is, but he's definitely not getting the credit that he deserves. I do feel that way.
So have you ever heard of Google Trends? Do you know what that is?
Yes. Yeah.
So Google Trends, for those who don't, is something where you can basically see how much a person is searched for, basically how popular is a term or a person over a period of time. And over the last 30 days, I compared 4 rookies: Scoot Henderson, Brandon Miller, Osar Thompson, and Jaime Jaquez. And what Google Trends essentially does is give each of those like different search profiles a rating based on how popular they've been on the internet. And 100 is like the most popular. So 100 would be Taylor Swift and a 0 would be James Plowright. Okay, that's roughly your trend guide right there. Brandon Miller is a 24. Scoot Henderson is a 35, despite him being injured and not playing for a good period of time and being awful, which, by the way, some people say, well, because he's been bad, that's why he's got spoken about more. And there is something to that. Like, bad news is sometimes more clickable news when it comes to NBA media. I get that. Osar Thompson has got a ranking of 40, and Jaime Jaquez has got a ranking of 20. So, like, Scoot Henderson, Osar Thompson, both playing on teams that are as bad, if not worse, than the Charlotte Hornets. And, like, both have just been talked about generally more than Brandon Miller. And I know Osar's had some great games. You know, he's filled up the box scores and he's been, NBA League Pass darling kind of guy to watch. But Brandon Miller is contributing more to winning basketball right now. If you want to go down like he doesn't affect winning that type route, Brandon Miller is like a key part of that. Whereas Osar Thompson is on a terrible Detroit team, which has won 2 or 3 games, one of which was against the Charlotte Hornets, where they, surprise, surprise, bullied the Charlotte Hornets in that game. But it just shows again, like, there is something here where everybody wanted Brandon Miller to fail. Everyone was clowning the Charlotte Hornets for selecting him. And he is just quietly going about his business, doing it in his very controlled, non-loud way. And people just seem to be putting their heads in the sand because they don't want to go back and like admit. Like, if it was the other way around now, everybody would be like, Brandon Miller is trash. Scoot Henderson would be, you know, what were they thinking? Blah, blah, blah. But because they have prior beliefs about Scoot Henderson, everyone's going, well, we have to wait. Well, we have to wait, you know, the injury for Scoot. And so it just frustrates me that Brandon Miller isn't getting the credit that he deserves. And like, you can clown the Charlotte Hornets all you want, but you've at least got to put that thing in there that is like, but Brandon Miller, he is going to be a star, because I'm telling you, the kid is coming.
Yeah, it is really unfortunate that, you know, biases inform every aspect of NBA discourse at the national level, or really, I guess, just any level. But yeah, I think I completely agree with you. I was one that made the Chris Middleton comparison pretty frequently myself during the pre-draft process. Fully comfortable with being wrong with that already. I've accepted it. So, I mean, now we can only go up. So very much looking forward to watching Brandon Miller for not only the next couple weeks with LaMelo out, but just the rest of the year in general.